Hello everyone, and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm going to be breaking down my Primalist Shaman Avalancher. Now this build is one of the best builds you can make from a clear speed perspective. Of course, as always, I will show you gameplay, we will go through skills, we'll go through passives, and then I will show you my gear. Alright, let's jump right into this. As always, we are going to start with gameplay. Now the 5 skills I'm going to be using is Maelstrom, Tornado, Avalanche, Summon Thorn Totem, and Ice Thorns. Now, while you're playing, you always want to have 5 totems up at a time. This is going to give you a lot of survivability and a ton of damage, okay? So you want to have 5 totems up, even if they're not even in the screen. Then your Maelstrom and Tornado are instant casts, so you can literally click those on the run. And then your Avalanche isn't an instant cast, but it lasts a long time and it follows you. So kind of the idea is your totems are up, your instant cast Maelstrom and Tornado, and you are running around with your Avalanche. Then when you pause, you use your Ice Thorns, which cost no mana, to help kill enemies, give you a boost in damage, and it's just kind of that nice little attack that if you ever ran out of mana, it helps you and does do some decent damage. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this works. Here we go. It should be fairly easy. Again, clear speed on this is ridiculous. For the most part, you just keep running. And if you notice anything that chases you, it'll just get decimated. Hello, everyone. Good night. I'm sorry right now, I'm getting a little bit of lag, like normal, not from last Epoch, but good old OBS. Look at this clear speed. Bye. Goodbye. Who's next? Up here. Goodbye. But I do have to say, my character is pretty sweet here right now. This is definitely an advanced guide. Alright, let's see. Who do we have over here to fight? Oh, these are so easy. You literally just circle it. Run in circles. And anybody else out there? Who am I missing? You. And you. And you. Done. Now, I've been asked in the past, is this build good against single targets? I've literally never died to a boss because it is really good. One, because you're constantly moving. Literally what I do is I just circle the boss and the Avalanche just continuously rains on them. So it's actually hard for them to hit you and you are constantly doing a ton of DPS. Okay, so that's the gameplay. Let me show you how I created this. Starting off skills with Summon Thorn Totem. You want 3 into Forested Expanse, 4 into Eternal Forest, 1 into Grove Mind, 1 into Torrent of Thorns, 3 into On Astral Winds, 5 into Winterwood, 1 into Ice Thorns Totem. That's what turns it to physical, from physical to cold damage, and 1 into Frost Attunement. Again, you want to have 5 totems up at a time because it gives you a ton of damage, a ton of protection, and does decent damage itself. Okay? We'll go over Avalanche last. Tornado. 3 into Lasting Storm, 4 into Hurricane, 1 into Eye of the Storm, and 1 into Snap Gale. Snap Gale is what makes it an instant cast, which is really important. It doesn't stop you from running. Then 1 into Aspect of the Storm, 1 into Storm Dervish, 5 into Swift Wings, and 4 into Gust of Renewal. You will see a lot around mana efficiency because this build is very mana dependent, okay? So that's for Tornado. Maelstrom. 1 into Turmoil, 5 into Arctic Chill, 5 into Arctic Blast, 4 into Calm, 1 into Sudden Gale. Sudden Gale is what turns it into an instant cast, and then 3 into Whirlpool. Now, what Maelstrom is really going to do is it's going to chill and freeze people that are around you, which in itself adds a form of protection and does damage as well. Ice Thorns. This also gives you a buff to your overall damage, and it's free. So if you ever run out of mana, you can always use Ice Thorns, or use Ice Thorns if you're waiting for your mana to recharge. 1 into Emblem of Might. This is what makes it where it costs no mana if you have a two-handed. For this build, we use a staff. 4 into Dagger of Thorns. 4 into Cold Prison. 4 into Farwood Heart, and this is what gives you a boost to damage. I'll explain it more during the character sheet. 3 into Ritual Briar, 1 into Thorn Shaper, and 3 into Shamanistic Fury. Okay, last and not least, Avalanche. This skill is so good right now in the game. I'm having a lot of fun with this build. Okay, so the left hand is the most important. 1 into Mountain Peak, 1 into Precision, 1 into Wild Path, 4 into Unyielding Storm, and 1 into Hailstorm. Hailstorm is what makes it where it follows you around. Okay, now I used to have 4 into Naturally Occurring for the mana efficiency, and that is no longer needed on this build. I've taken those 4 points and put it right here into Stormfront. So you want 4 into Intensify and 4 into Stormfront, and this node made such a huge difference. Having the boulders drop 20% quicker, you notice it right off the bat. But if you're struggling technically with mana, you can put it into Naturally Occurring. Then 2 into Explosive Impact, 1 into Mountain's Fury, and 1 into Frost. Now, Frost is what turns it from a physical skill into a cold skill, just like we did with our totems. Very, very important. So those are the 5 skills: Summon Thorn Totem, Avalanche, Tornado, Maelstrom, and Ice Thorns. Moving over to passives. Now, I have made lots of adjustments since 7.10 on this build because attunement is now even more important for this build. Not only does it buff the damage for all of our skills, it also gives you a buff to our mana. So having as much attunement as possible is very important. Now I'm going to read through these skills like normal fairly fast. 8 into Natural Attunement, 2 into Tempest Bond, 6 into Wisdom of the Wild, 5 into Thorn Bond, and 4 into Elder Branch. This is what I'm leveling right now. Then we actually jump over to Druid, and I have 8 into Soul's Attendant, gives you mana and more attunement. Then all Shaman, 8 into Shamanic Infusion, 8 into Silent Protector, 2 into Windbringer, 5 into Hailbringer, 5 into Shattered Heavens, 5 into Protective Circle, 8 into Rune of Awe, 8 into Elemental Shrines, 6 into Swirling Maelstrom, and 8 into Ascendant Circle. This is probably the most important node right here in the middle. 32% increased spell damage per totem you have. And if you remember, you are going to have 5. Now we're moving over to gear. And before I break down what I use for this character, I do have to show you the character sheet so you understand how your resistances work, okay? So as you can see right here, I have no idols equipped, and I have no equipment on my character. It's all down here in my stash. Now, when you are gearing this character, what makes it so fun to gear is you don't have to worry about any resistances, at least the elemental ones. You don't have to worry about fire, lightning, cold, or physical on any of your gear because your totems do that for you. So let me illustrate. Okay, one more time. Level 83, no idols, no gear. Right now I have 0 fire, 24 lightning, 74 cold, and 0 physical. Also 0 armor. I have a little bit of resistance because of my passives. Okay, ready? In 3, 2, 1. So for 12 seconds now I have my 5 totems. I now have 216 armor, which gives me 11%. Fire's at 125, lightning's at 149, cold is at 199, and physical is at the max at 75. All because I have my totems up. So that's why when you're playing, it is super important to make sure you always keep your totems up because it gives you so much more survivability. And then while you're gearing your character, you could focus on other things that will help with damage or helping you with other forms of resistances like Void, Necrotic, Poison, Critical Strike Avoidance, things like that. I now have all my gear put back on my character, and we're going to start with idols. So 57% increased spell damage if you have an active totem, 56% increased spell damage if you have an active totem, 14% cold damage per active totem, and 15% cold damage per active totem. Again, you are such a better character when your totems are on the screen. You have to remember that when you are playing this build. Now, the best idols that you can get is basically a cold damage per active totem with Life Leech, or 2 spell damage with Life Leech. So far, I've only been able to find 1 of each. Okay, so those are the idols. As far as gear, you will notice that no sets, no uniques are required for this build. It is best to craft your own rares, okay? And I will go through all the items right now. You can take a look. Amulet, helmet, armor, two-handed staff. Oracle staff is the best staff you can get for this build. It can be as high as 100% adaptive spell damage. This one rolled with 98. Now on here it has 156% increased spell damage. You can also roll this with cold. So the best you can get if you could find a good staff would be 162% to spell and 162 to cold, with it having adaptive spell damage. Literally everything else wouldn't even matter if you could somehow find one with both those stats. I've still been looking. Ring, belt, other ring, gloves, boots, and relic. Okay, so that is the current gear that I am using. So now let's look at the character sheet. So what does this actually give us? Okay, so on here you already saw all the resistances. So 75, 75, 75, 72, 72, 26. So right now the only thing I'm really looking at from a resistance standpoint for this character is void resistances. Even though these two aren't 75, I'm not really too worried. 72 works. All I need to do is craft 1 item higher, so it's not a big deal. You notice right now attunement, I have 75 points into attunement. Health, almost 1100, and then mana over 300. Now let me show you damage. Okay, so spell damage 331, cold damage 188. Let me show you what that moves to when you have your 5 totems. Are you ready for this? 331 moves to 624, and then cold damage jumped up to 353. That is 977. 977% to your cold spells. Unbelievable. On top of that, 667% freeze rate multiplier and 50% chill chance. And again, Maelstrom will be freezing and chilling people as you go. That stat will not be shown on here. For defense, right now I actually have too much critical strike avoidance. I'm at 123. I'm looking to upgrade this ring because it has crit avoidance on it right at 23, but I haven't gotten anything yet. But ultimately, those are the stats. Now you can boost it even higher. Okay, let me get rid of this. Through your Ice Thorns. Okay, now I explained how Ice Thorns, when you actually use it, it has a chance to boost your damage. Now here we go. Throw this up. So now you've got your spell damage and your cold. Now watch cold. So Ice Thorns actually gives you a boost to your cold damage. Right now it's at 453. So Avalanche is falling around you, and as you are doing your Ice Thorns, it's actually giving you a boost to your Avalanche. But you have to be base. It doesn't last very long, so as soon as you stop, it'll go down pretty quick. But ultimately, what is that? 1,077. So if you have Ice Thorns, 5 totems up, 1,077% to cold spell damage. One final tip for this build, and we are out of here. Now, this last affix I'm going to talk about is not required, but from a quality of life perspective and a clear speed, it makes a world of difference, and that is movement speed. Now, you might have noticed in the gameplay earlier that my character is freaking fast. Right now, my movement speed is 48% increased, and I can tell you it means a world of difference. That being said, it is not required, so that's up to you as you are gearing out the character. All right, everybody, that is the build guide. What do you think of my Primalist, Shaman, Avalancher. Is there something I missed that I can make this guide so much stronger? Let me know in the comment section below. If you have any questions or need any help or something maybe you didn't understand, please join the official Action RPG Discord. We now have over 350 members, great conversations every day, especially around the last Epoch. The idea is to create a gaming community that could jump from game to game together so you never start the server alone. Link for that Discord is in the description. That's all I got. Stay home, stay safe. Do not forget to join the official Action RPG Discord. Aaron, out.